And we are live.
Well, three of us are live.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, you're half dead. For those of you just tuning in, Ollie, for the first time his entire life, has been late. This is a real moment to savour. Did you just roll out of bed, Ol?
No. About 20 minutes ago. So it's fine. Nothing good yet.
I was going to jump straight to the toast and acknowledge what a fine life you've had. You fit a lot in, more weddings than than a priest, but you're with us, which is wonderful.
You are. It's currently 4:22 p.m. local time. For those of you that are wondering what time Ollie rolled out of bed, into it, Vaughany, yes.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. It looks like Ollie's died again, though.
Frozen.
Here we go. All right.
Happy New Year, dudes.
Yes, well, let's start with this. Happy freaking New Year and welcome to Club Prairie Fire Season 9, Episode 9. As you all know, we are super fond of Tequila, Tabasco and the mighty Duckworth Lewis Stern System. This episode I am calling, well, funnily enough, it was called Watch Us Thrive in 2025. However, there is some irony in that now that we've seen Ollie. And how he is just warmed up death at the moment. Let me say, on this very first day of the year, it is a fact that Club Prairie Fire has already become a global podcasting juggernaut. We are officially ranked number one in all cricket powerhouse nations such as Italy, Nicaragua, Mauritius, and of course, South Korea. And I tell you what, folks, in 2025, we are going even bigger. That's right. Strap yourselves in, Prairians, because the year ahead is going to be one of the biggest that cricket has ever seen. And we will be here to hold your hand every step of the cricketing way. Let me run through a few of the tasty morsels this little show will be covering over the next 12 months. In January, first and foremost, the conclusion of the Border-Gavaskar series with the fiery fifth test between India and Australia. In February is the cricketing purist World Cup. That's right. It's my favourite. It's the Champions Trophy. It will be taking place in Pakistan. March to May. 'Tis the monster that is known as the IPL. It gets longer every year and we love it. We absolutely love it. June, it's the World Test Championship. South Africa, they've already locked in their spot. Deservedly so. Are you interrupting the intro? Yes, boy.
Yeah, you're missing the one test series, England versus Zimbabwe in May.
Sorry, I didn't. I've got it written here. I'm sorry about that. In May, England, the might of England will take on the upcomers Zimbabwe in what has been called the Test of the Century. Yes, June, South Africa, they've already locked in their spot for the World Test Championship. Who will be taking them on? I can say definitely not England. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Speaking of England, what about this?
Stay out.
What about this for your Northern Hemisphere summer? India, they will head to England for a very tasty 5-test series. We'll have you covered on that. And, of course, to round out the year, the one we have all been waiting for, the Ashes. Sorry, Vaughany, I've missed another one. What have I missed?
You've missed the biggest tournament in the world, the 100 in there.
All right, so hey, let me be to it. And, of course, the
We'll edit
absolute
this.
climax of the cricketing calendar is the 100. We will keep you up to date. Every single ball will be covered right here on Club Prairie Fire. So, cricket lovers, if you do have New Year's resolution this year, it is to like and subscribe to this wonderful little podcast and tell every cricketing nerd you know that this is the place to get zero insights and all the ill-informed opinions that you could ever want. Now, two blokes who will be there with us every step of the way in 2025, of course. Adam Gilchrist and Michael Vaughan. Gilly, Vaughany, how was New Year's Eve? Let me start with that. Who would like to go first?
Go on, Gil, you go.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Happy New Year to all of you. Excellent New Year's Eve for me. Down in Lorne, which is about 2 hours out of Melbourne, down the Great Ocean Road. First time I've been here, must say, beautiful place, beautiful weather, and spent with my family and my son's girlfriend and her family. Professional. I knew that I had a podcast on today and I wanted to be prepared for it. Got to bed, did see the new year in, but straight to bed, had the obligatory prairie fire, but made sure I was fresh and ready to go and on time for my obligations the next day. So, yeah, great one for me. I'm feeling chipper.
Thanks, Gilly, and thanks, thanks for being on time and thank you for your service. It's
a pleasure.
I'm looking
Dedicated.
forward to 2025.
Nice, Gil. Happy New Year, everyone. I did know you mentioned that two of us will be there with you all the way. I presume you're not including Ollie anymore, Professor. Has he lost his spot?
Let's say this: we're interviewing. We'll find another.
Okay. All right. Let's watch this space. Yeah, I was down the Cooge, just bringing in the new year. Fireworks in the Cooge were very similar to what we see. Obviously on the bridge a bit later. We down the Cooge like the fireworks to be there at 9 o'clock, so everyone can obviously have a good time and get pissed after that, rather than wait till 12 o'clock. Woke up this morning, saw the fireworks in London that went on for 15 minutes. Don't know why they have to go on for so long, but that's my kind of summarization of fire. I'll be honest with you, I can't stand fireworks. I think they're the biggest waste of space. Honestly, we need to find a new way to bring in the New Year's across the globe. So I noticed in Japan, Tokyo, they have had a huge amount of fireworks, and then in Saudi, they're trying to break the world record, and the Saudi New Year fireworks went on for 53 minutes, which I think is the world record for bringing in a New Year. Far too long. I want to have a drink by then. But yeah, Happy New Year. I enjoyed it down the Cooge, and now I'm ready to cover a Big Bash game and fresh and ready to go.
It is a good time to bring in Ollie, because my next question is any New Year's resolutions? How can you perhaps make your life healthier? How can you take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and just be a better person in 2025? Yeah. Ollie, would you like to lead us off with resolutions?
Yeah, well, I actually do have one. It's to not get sunburnt in 2025. Genuinely, that is becoming a real issue. And the UV keeps going up and it's agony. So that's my healthy resolution, which so far I haven't been outside yet in 2025. So it started well. Happy with it.
Ollie, can I ask you about? I follow you obviously on Instagram. Always very entertaining. You seem to have come up on my Bunning Warehouse Insta feed. Can you explain that to me? Why you, Ollie Silverton, are on the Bunning Warehouse feed?
Yeah, I got given basically it's called a shit shirt for Secret Santa, which is by them. But and I think it was actually done by them for mental health. So it says on the back of it, this shirt is a conversation starter, but it got discontinued for being unsafe. So then they just gave it to me basically for free.
The shirt's unsafe?
Yeah.
Is it a fire hazard?
Potentially, because I think it's meant to be like a work shirt and it's not safe enough. So I went back to change the size and it just was error.
I think we've lost Ollie.
Can't let you have that. So yeah.
Hey, I want to get straight into this cricket because, as I said,
big year of cricket. Can I announce my New Year's resolution? Or
I definitely skipped you, Gilly. Not a great start to the year for me. Bloody hell.
Yep.
All right, on you go, Gil.
I want to launch a tequila company. Simple as that. That's my resolution. I'm going to do it. So I'm committed.
Yeah. Well, you've been saying you're going to do it for a few years, so 25 seems a good number.
What's changed? Yeah.
Is there?
That's where I'm up to. Hey, those fireworks. We were down at Lawn. It was beautiful down on the beach, which is a little regional place. And the local council pumped some money into fireworks. 9:30 for the kids, and then obviously the midnight one. And to close out the 9:30 one, it was a beach chock full of people, families, a great atmosphere. And there's a jetty that goes out, and the fireworks were going off. And then just as they finished, some galoot goes over and sort of stands on the side of the beach by himself and thinks he'll impress everyone and lights his own fireworks, which shoots probably a few meters straight over the head of the crowd on the beach. Everyone sort of laughs and screams a bit and then go, oh, that was it. And then next minute, one fires straight back into bushes and a bushfire erupted. It is literally the grass fire has started. It's gone to about 4 meters in diameter in a nanosecond. And it took a whole bunch of blokes, one of my sons included, to run over there and shovel sand onto it to put it all out. And then about 10 minutes later, the fire department turned up. So it was top New Year's Eve by that wanker. Anyway, yeah. Fireworks overrated.
Well, correct. I was going to mention that on the lunch show, and obviously on Fox, we have a segment with Mark Wall, which is the overrated segment. And I would think it'll be back in Sydney. I'm going to throw in fireworks into that segment.
Yep. Do you like the drone shows, Vaughany? where it's the drone shows, where it's the choreographed drones that have lights on them.
No.
It's sort of the alternate. No?
No. I actually saw one. I think we've got to think of something different to bring in these celebratory moments. Blasting noise and a few lights into the sky is not what I think we should be celebrating with in 2025 now. We need to think of something fresh and new.
Well, it is kind of a technology that hasn't.
Just a tequila shot will do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
because they were doing the same thing like
2,000
years ago. Okay, are we ready to get into the cricket, gents?
I saw someone that looks and sounds a bit like the old Ollie that we used to know before the new in 2025 incarnation that's turned up. He suggested on social media they should have put the money in Sydney towards the potholes on the road.
I saw
strong feedback.
Yeah. Was that you, Ollie?
Yeah, Transport New South Wales haven't got in touch, but Bunnings agreed with the story as I'm now the new influencer. Yeah.
And obviously, someone that's got young kids, do I say to my son, Henry, pack the picnic rug, we're going to go take a look at the new potholes that have been filled in? Is that... And then we all gather around. And,
why don't you ask your son, just say, look, 225 is a new year, and obviously we'll be celebrating the new year going into 26, but it's going to be a different style. We're just going to have a tequila shot now. See how he likes that.
Son, get all your 7-year-old friends around.
Doing
a Prairie Fire shot. Perfect.
Hey, Vaughany, where's that England-Zimbabwe match?
Oh, it's at the home of cricket. It's at Lords.
Is it?
It's I would think there'll be a good turnout for that Test match. It might get more of a look than the actual World Test Championship final. India not making it. You wouldn't think. Well, they can't make it now. So South Africa have made it. Looks like Australia could join them. It might get a bigger crowd. England's in.
I think India might have a very, very, very unlikely chance if a whole multitude of results go their way.
Yeah, I did hear that today.
The ICC will probably work a way of trying to make sure they've got a chance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey, if you finished Googling hangover remedies, if you could just flip to another page and just check whether or not that India has any chance, that'd be great. Hey, I want to start with a big question, 2025, and I want to ask you, Michael Vaughan. This is a headline grabber, which I know that you're very good at. Let me ask you this. Is India versus Australia now cricket's greatest rivalry?
No. England versus Australia is the greatest rivalry, but the greatest series at the minute is Australia versus India.
Okay.
But the rivalry of the Ashes goes back 150 years. This recent modern rivalry is the best series. The last probably the last 20 odd years. Actually, you'd say that India versus Australia have been the best series to watch, both home and away. I think they've been the most contested. You're never quite sure what's going to happen. But in terms of rivalry, surely the Ashes is still the biggest rivalry. But if in 50, 60 years this rivalry carries on, well, of course, and the problem with the Ashes is my team have not managed to travel down under and compete. We compete very strongly at home, and that makes it a great contest. The last two series in the UK have been tremendous, right up there with any kind of series. But the problem with the England side getting on a plane and that 24-hour journey, it's been a problem, and we've not been able to compete. So in terms of the contest, it's been nowhere near home and away, whereas India, Australia, the contest has been very, very good, both home and away. So it's the best contest in the world, but it's not the biggest rivalry.
Is that what about them coming down under? Do they leave their morals at the airport before they depart Heathrow? Do they? Because if they just bring them with them,
they've got to sign up. They struggle with. They generally come down to play golf, and then play a bit of cricket. But look, it worked just a little bit further down in New Zealand. So I'm hoping that they've kind of got used to the travel and jet lag, and they're working out how to get down under and compete like the Indian side have competed. But let's be honest, India win the first game in Perth, played great. Since then, they've been blown away. Really, they'd have lost in Brisbane. The series would have been done and dusted by now. So you've got to say this series, as much as it's been brilliant cricket, a lot of it, particularly the last 3 games, has been very one-sided. Australia have managed to get the upper hand and play some great cricket, and India have not been able to find a way of kind of throwing a punch back. They've thrown a shoulder barge back, but they haven't been able to throw a punch back.
Have indeed. It'd be interesting if India were to get up in Sydney 2-2, whether they would claim to be moral victors. So it would be see what transpires. I think the biggest rivalry is about to emerge. I don't think anything's scraped the surface yet. Even Pakistan and India, I mean, that is the biggest rivalry. We're not talking about cricket, of course, but they don't play each other in cricket, Test match cricket, so that can't be considered a rivalry. It's about to start in May at Lord's. There's no doubt about it. England, Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it's a big
Watch that grow. That's box office.
Yeah, I played against Zimbabwe back in 203, I think it was, 202, 2-3. Big series. We managed to win it. I do know that the BCCI have been on to the ECB, and obviously the captain wrote, has been speaking to Ben Stokes. If they do manage to win in Sydney, how they claim the moral victory. They're just trying to work out how they're going to claim it.
Okay. Well, they're the people to talk to. All right. Well, that's it. There's a little bit of clickbait there. We're still saying India. Sorry, we're still saying England, Australia, greatest rivalry, which is fantastic. Hey, Ol, we're going to get into this 4th test. What an amazing Boxing Day test it was. Before we do, are you up to giving our sponsor a bit of a plug?
Absolutely, always. I'll do anything, basically, for CATO, Cricket Australia Travel Office. Each week we get stories relevant to what's coming up. And we had a bit of Boxing Day and Melbourne with the King last time. And this week it's Vaughany talking to us about experience of the Sydney and a New Year's test. Hopefully that just doesn't involve pouring down shitloads of rain, essentially. But what is something that stands out from your history, Vaughany?
Well, Sydney's a very good venue for England. I've managed to play 1 test there and got 1 victory. Darren Gough got a hat-trick in Sydney. The England side in 10-11 celebrated winning the Ashes Series 3-1 by dancing across the SCG using the sprinkler dance. We got very, very drunk in the dressing room and drove the Gatorade Golf wagon that goes onto the outfield down the road and got stopped by the police in 2003. So Sydney, of all the venues, the Adelaide Oval is my favourite venue. But Sydney, if you look at it, England last time, where they got blown up, they got a draw here in Sydney. So all the England fans, I mean, if they're not booking for next year's Ashes and realising Australia really have to work a way of staying in it and obviously getting ahead of the trend by Sydney, because if it comes to Sydney, it's done. It's done. If England are ahead by Sydney, England's record here is absolutely magnificent. I think it was another test match, Gil. I don't know if you were playing in the 90s when Michael Slater was run out and it was given not out. Were you playing in that game, Gil?
No.
And he was run out, given not out, and you managed to just sneak the victory. So that would have been England's victory as well. So from my recollection, England they haven't really lost here in Sydney. It's just a raised of any kind of 80s. I think 80s in 86, 87 did England win here in Sydney, probably. 90s, I know we did a lot of damage there in the 90s, took it right down to the wire. And if we lost, it was only by Michael Slater being given not out in terms of a run out. So Sydney's a great venue, Ollie, for all the England fans that are coming in their droves. I mean, India had a big travel last week at the MCG. They had a huge amount of numbers.
Oh yeah,
and I'm thinking that England will have probably a few more coming to next year's Ashes, with England obviously being quite hot favourites to win it.
I think that's my challenge to England, to try and keep the top billing as the biggest rivalry in cricket, Australia v England. They need more numbers at the MCG than India had, which is 373,000. I don't think they're all Indian, but a significant amount. And then, they'll have to eclipse whatever turns up at the SCG. So get on CATO, get on the website and book your travel right now. The other thing that happened in that test match you mentioned about Slater's run out, is that the one where Athers declared on Graham Hick 99 not out.
Might have been around that time, Gil. It might have been around.
Good,
Gil.
good for team spirit, that.
Yeah, Gil, just on obviously trying to break the record at the MCG, it's very, very difficult to break the record when you only play for 3 days.
Ah.
England don't play 5. They certainly don't play really 3.5. So if you can cram in, what would that mean? We'd need to get in 125,000 a day for the 3 days that the game will last. Quite difficult to break it.
Well, we might have 4-day tests next year too.
What a great spot to push this chat, Vaughany, because obviously you have been a big advocate for 4-day tests.
Yeah, still am.
It's been a few little drive-bys in the test, didn't you?
I seem to be quite popular with the Australian team. They seem to mention my name a lot.
So obviously, the last session of day 5, there was 7 wickets, and Australia claimed quite the victory. If it was a 4-day test, would that have taken place, or would they have done that on the last session of day 4? How would that have worked?
Well, if it had been a 4-day game, they probably wouldn't have batted on so boringly in the first innings for so long.
Okay.
And then they wouldn't have blocked the shit out of it, scoring at 2.8 in the second innings.
Okay.
And bored the life out of all of us at the ground. And then the game would have been done and dusted in 4 days, and they'd have won quicker. I mean, there you go. We'd have got to Sydney and watched the fireworks even sooner.
Which you were just itching to get to. We know that. So you stand by it. You still think 4 days doesn't matter? I mean, what was the Mitchell Starc drive by Ollie that you were talking about?
Yeah. Another comment. I think it was with Issa Gu at the end of it, and she, how amazing! One of the great Test matches, and he literally opened with, brilliant. Not sure Vaughany will like it on day 5, and then there was another one just before the session as well. Can't remember who gave it. Nathan Lyon pipes up. All on.
But the thing is, with the 5, I like 5-day cricket, and if the system carries on being the system as it is, no one can complain that South Africa have made the final of the World Test Championship. Nobody. Because that is why the system is a little bit broken, that South Africa reached the World Test Championship final having played 11 games. And teams like India play 15 games. And then South Africa play 11, of which they drew 1-1 with India. They lost in New Zealand 2-0. They took a second team there because of their T20 tournament. They beat Bangladesh away, which is a good win because Bangladesh produce spinning wickets, so that was a good win. Sri Lanka, they won, and then 1-0 up against Pakistan. So they've had to beat nobody, really, to reach the World Test Championship final. If you look at the schedule, if you have it over 4 days, and I keep saying 2 leagues, which again upsets people, but I just think you need 2 leagues, promotion and relegation, scheduling would be a lot easier. And the game, in the last 2 years, the average overs have been 280. There's been 8 draws in 86. So every now and again, every blue moon, we go to the 5th day and the last session. It's brilliant. It's great. But you can't produce a product just on the every now and again, once in a blue moon. Most teams and most test matches now finish very, very quickly. And it's a great product. The most entertaining 2 years that I've watched Test cricket has been the last 2 years. So I love the way the players are playing, but I'll keep sticking to it. It's now a 4-day product.
Now, I think Gilly, because you've obviously come out publicly and said you want it to be 6 days. Is that right?
I have. I'd like a rest day wedged back in the middle there, and that's called Prairie Fire Day.
I like that. Yeah,
that would be very helpful. Look, to the World Test Championship point, I think it's important that the ICC do put some considered thought into that whole process, because the teams. Ben Stokes was on record saying, I think, paraphrasing, he hadn't even ever thought about it or considered it. But that's, clearly that's not something you have to consider when you're in the bottom half, if not on the bottom most of the time. But I think the Australian players did that. Their tactics, they did bat into day 5, knowing that South Africa had qualified, and by batting on, albeit it only ended up batting on about 9 balls before Boomer ripped out Nathan Lyle's middle stump. But they were calculating the fact that India were going to have to press on really hard if they wanted to get anything out of that game, with the bigger picture at mind, the World Test Championship. So Australia are really serious about it. They've won it once. They're defending champs. That they're really factoring it into broader picture stuff. So the ICC, if they know that the players are considering it seriously, they've got to get the structure right. And I do agree with Vaughany that at the moment it doesn't seem like it's remotely close to being fair and equitable for everyone.
In terms of global trophies, it's one of the great trophies as well. The long staff with
the mace.
Yeah, the mace, with the big ball on top. So it's, I mean, I can see why they're going for it as opposed to the Ashes.
Just on that, Prof, me and Gilly had a picture taken with it. There was a lovely gentleman from Star who I think is working for the ICC and their social media. And he had me and Gilly in the picture with it, and then we had individual. And I basically said, "There's no point in, I've never seen this trophy, and England don't give a shit about it. So why do we want to have a picture with it?"
That was the Champions Trophy, mate, not the World Test Championship.
Was that the Champions Trophy? And again, we haven't seen that one either.
Same answer.
No, we don't go for those kind of trophies.
No, it's the World Cup, the Ashes. Are we happy? I know you guys have probably spoken about this Test match. Well, I don't know, probably more than you'd like to. But are you happy to run through a few of the bigger moments just to get another take on it? Perhaps a little bit more relaxed. Let's start. Yeah, I was going to start with the KOHLI shoulder charge. Obviously, I mean, a lot of people were against it. I've always called for full body contact cricket. I think just adds an extra element. If at any point you could,
I thought it was a bit unlucky. I thought he was unlucky. I think there's 134 cameras in the ground. I thought he was unlucky to be caught. Thought he could have got away with that.
Did we do a Fox bio on that or not?
Yeah, very unlucky to get caught.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting then, the whole crowd chanting KOHLI's a wanker. Well, not the whole crowd, obviously, but the Australian contingent. I'm wondering, Vaughany, did you ever get an MCG crowd chanting Vaughany's a wanker?
No, that really pisses me off. No, I think if you're getting that, you're in the the echelons of real legendary players. I mean, Phil Tufnell got it. Tufnell's a wanker. Seriously,
it's a badge of honour, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few chants down that Bay 13 this week that were a little bit. That's the one thing I think the Australian crowd, and there was a few that were supporting Australia, but not many this week. They're mainly supporting India. I do think you've got to work, Gilly, on the Australian songs. Ollie, do you agree with that? You just Google. They're not great, are they? Aussie, oi, 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 and all that. It needs to improve.
To be brutally honest, the Aussies in the crowd, generally around the ground, but certainly at Bay 13, they were exhausted from Sam Konstas continually geeing them up, asking them to lift. They loved him at the start, but by the end of it, they were fatigued. He was out of control, the kid.
Wasn't that great with him down there?
Gilly, are you sure Sam's playing at the SCG, or was that like his week that he'd won a prize that he got the chance to play for Australia for the week?
I think it was the old Daily Telegraph, send your entry in.
Yeah, okay. Was it a Bunnings Warehouse prize or something that he got the chance to play for Australia?
Isn't that amazing, though, that on this podcast, I think I said to you boys, like the most unbelievable trial by fire that you walk out to an MCG crowd first day and you're facing Bumrah and he goes out there and just starts ramping him.
Yeah.
Just.
That was crazy, wasn't it? I just wrote down a note there as his name came up and you mentioned that first little innings that he played, Prof. I wrote down to make sure when I do my toast, I'm going to toast Nathan McSweeney for gutsing it out, batting for his life, for his country. And then his replacement comes in and just nonchalantly does the reverse.
Just on Sam though, Gilly. Nathan and Mitchell Stark obviously are well in their rights to want 5-day cricket, but Sam's my man. And he's coming into that Aussie side going, Vaughany's right about 4-day cricket, and I'm going to prove it. he's my man. I've sent him in there, so get on with it.
What was it like?
Good.
What was it like in the stadium when he was doing that? Was it?
It was buzzing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was buzzing. The press, the whole media area everyone was just blown away. Just couldn't quite believe it. You know, the first attempt, it was like, oh, come on, youngster, don't throw away your first step onto the big stage foolishly. And then he tries it again and misses. Oh, hang on, this is getting a bit embarrassing. And he gets one away.
Ollie, it's kind of what we see every week, isn't it, Ol?
Well, I was going to say, there were lots of hot takes. My favourite was on Twitter. I can't remember who went, finally, Australian have found their own Zach Crawley, which I thought was the perfect response to it. So that's about right.
I reckon Sam Konstas, even though he's never played New Zealand, would have a better average than Zach Crawley does against them. What's his?
He went into the negatives by the end of it.
I think he was minus 10. A few other big moments. This is an open conversation, gents, so feel free to throw a few in. Obviously, RISHABH PANT, friend of the pod. A couple of times, a couple of silly shots to throw his wicket away. The guy whose name's on the trophy getting very angry. If your name is on a trophy, does it mean that you are allowed to get cranky?
I reckon.
What was his commentary? Stupid. We're talking about Border-Gavaskar.
Told RISHABH he should walk into the Australian change rooms. Don't walk into India's. You've just gifted Australia a wicket. Go into their change room.
I think it's that fine balance with RISHABH PANT. The first innings, I have no problem. I'd be wanting him to go out and express himself and whatever he feels is possible. And people say, there was two bad, but he whacks it over the top of them, and he does it on a regular basis. I have no problem with his first innings. I have more of a problem with that dismissal in the second innings because they've done all the work. They've done the whole work of kind of digging in the afternoon, and they come out after tea, and Travis Head's bowling with, I think he had 5 fielders on the boundary, Gilly. That was right, wasn't it? And Mitchell Marsh at mid-on had been moved around, and to get caught out in the deep when I would say probably JAISWAL and PANT, if they'd have batted another 8 overs, just knocking it out, I think Australia probably would have got to that second new ball and had a real good dart with the second new ball. But to get to that second new ball, they probably would have bowled a bit more of Travis Head, maybe Marnus Labuschagne, maybe 1 3-over burst with the seamers, but nothing drastic. So it was his second innings dismissal that I went, I'm not too sure about that, RISHABH. The first innings, I'll be very much in his camp going, go even harder. Go and be even more extravagant if you possibly can, because that's what has brought him a huge amount of success. It's just the second innings was a bit, If Sonny had produced a stupid in the second innings, I'd have gone, no problem. In the first inning, I'm going, well, you got to take the rough with the smooth. He's a brilliant player that, the Adelaide Oval, when he came out and reverse ramp went over the corner, danced down first ball over extra cover, under lights, we're all going, oh, wow, brilliant shot. So you can't then criticise him if he gets out playing it. The second is that's where he had a bit of a brain fade.
Well, Sonny had a couple of. You go, Gilly.
Oh, I just thought it was a protest shot from RISHABH about having to play cricket on the 5th day. I think that's pretty much what it was. He's in Vaughany's camp there about the test match length.
Fair point.
Sonny had a couple of good ones. He had, I don't know if you saw how he said the JAISWAL wicket in the second innings, obviously where Snicker.
Yeah.
He said it was an optical illusion.
I love our game where you can have a dismissal where it was so clearly out. It was out twice. It hit the bat and the glove, and yet I think it was a BCCI president or chair. He posted some kind of
Rajiv Shukla.
That's the man, and he had a pop at the umpire and the technology. I mean, Jesus, if we're in a situation where India are going to protect themselves so badly when it's so obviously against them, it's a scary situation when that happens.
I didn't see them coming out. Those that were quoted about the JAISWAL one to the negative tune, didn't see them commenting on the LBW one to JAISWAL that hit him on the back leg, and the replay, the review showed, mate, I reckon about 99% of the ball was going through the stumps, but for somehow it went on umpire's call. You got to remain balanced in these things. But that was, I mean, our team at Fox put an end to any discussion on it, didn't they? When they did that replay with the ball tracker on it, the green line, and it showed the direction the ball was going. Yeah, whatever, I don't know, whatever we called Fox tracker or tracer. Or, anyway, it was like the magic bullet theory, wasn't it? Off it went on a completely different tangent. End of story. And then Akash Deep, rightly, he's within his rights to review, and he was arguing. He'd been given out on review for the little bat pad catch. He was arguing that he wasn't out, nothing on Snicko. And then we zoom in there, and you could see the cherry on the edge of the bat. The ball goes past and left a cherry there that wasn't there one frame before. Yeah. But at that point, he just got told by the umpires, piss off, just get off.
Yeah. Was there always this much drama around Test match cricket?
Social media creates it. Social media and the ability for everyone to have their say and release statements or release comment. That's what makes all the drama. Then it goes into the press, and then it goes into the press conference. Then the players get asked about it. It just seems to go on and on and on forever. What I love this week, Trent Copeland, who works for our competitors, very good broadcaster. He put out a tweet about it was the greatest Test match of all time, and someone quote tweeted, "It's not even the greatest Test match this week." My mate Hussey's just entered the room. Come and say hello, Huss.
Mr. Cricket,
come and say hello. We're just doing the pod. Just come and say hello.
Who is it?
We've tried.
G'day, Mr. Cricket.
Mr. Cricket.
Gilks. Now, Mr. Cricket, we've tried to tee this up a few times, haven't we, for you to join us on Club Prairie Fire?
He wants cash.
Huh?
That's what he's after, cash.
He sounds real dusty.
How much do you need to come on this podcast?
Me?
Nothing.
Listen to Ollie.
Nothing. A bottle of tequila, he says.
All right, got one right here, so we can.
Not much left than that.
Got not much left from last night, but we've got to get this sorted.
Gil, I'm just going to ask Huss, out of the three on the screen, so you got Ollie top right, Gilly there, centre back, and you got the professor just playing down the right mid. Which of the three do you think had the latest night last night? Just looking at their faces.
Well, Gilly sounds like he's had a late night. Can they hear me?
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah. Always listening.
Probably Ollie.
Nailed it.
Very good, Huss.
I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thanks, son.
Go get him, mate. We must get Huss on. We might get Huss on next week, eh?
Yeah, get Huss on. Well,
yeah, definitely.
Say what, you've had a day in the sun, haven't you? It looks like Ollie said.
Oh, very good. You talk about sort of social media and how it blows these things up. We were chatting about the Travis Head wicket and the celebration, which was, which we all used to use it for something else, but now we use it for finger in the ice.
Yeah.
It's absolutely exploded to the point where there is a former international player and politician, I'm going to get this name incorrect, but Navjot Singh Sidhu.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Have you seen this? He is demanded.
Ollie, just Google him.
Okay. Yeah, but what's he demanded? Tell me.
Okay, this caustic conduct did not insult an individual, but a nation of 1.5 billion Indians. Stringent punishment that would serve as a deterrent for future generations needs to be slapped on him so that no one dares follow suit. So the finger in the eyes has insulted an entire nation, 1.5 billion. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there an ice thing?
What is it? Is he suggesting that the actual physical gesture, or is it the meaning of the gesture saying, I'm such a good spinner, I need to, my finger's too hot, they're rubbish, they're a rubbish team, I can just rag it in there whenever I want and get a wicket and break it. What's the accusation of offence? Did he clarify?
I didn't get that deep into the article. I don't know. I can find it. If you chat amongst yourselves, I've got it right.
He's a very entertaining man, Navjot Singh Sidhu. On commentary sometimes, he's famous for some great quotes, one of them being, I think, a batsman was so unlucky he could fall into a bathtub full of nipples and come out sucking his thumb. So I mean that's relatively pale compared to some of the stuff Ravi Shastri's brought to our pre-game in recent times. But
I tell you what, Navjot wears some gears as well. He's got some clobber. You know, he wears some very, very lively outfits. He did for England once in the 90s, where he used to. I think he hit Embry, Tufnell. I think Eddie Hemmings might have been on that tour. I think he launched him out of every venue. He was a very aggressive player.
Oh, yeah.
He's had an interesting time then, Navjot, hasn't he, Ollie?
Yeah, his Wikipedia is quite long, in and out of jail with some convictions as well after his his career. I'm reading about him here. Yeah, quite the character. He's also appeared in Bollywood film.
His full tweet was that it doesn't. Travis Head's obnoxious behaviour during the course of the Melbourne Test doesn't augur well for the gentleman's game. Sets the worst possible example where there are kids, women, young and old, watching the game.
Yeah,
and then he went into.
No, that's true. Shoulder charge, all good. That gesture, wipe it out. Get rid of it.
Again, this wouldn't have happened if it had been a 4-day game. This happened on the day 5.
True. Everyone's getting a bit testy by that stage, aren't they?
Can't cope with day 5. Mitchell Stark. Look what happened to Mitchell Stark. He looked a bit tired, didn't he? Side was going.
Yeah.
That's where you need Prairie Fire Day to everyone can freshen right up.
Well, it's either got to be longer or short, the game now. I'm with you, Gilly. It's either got to be 4 days or 6 days.
Yep.
Nothing in between. It's got to be an even number.
Yeah.
That's another thing we're championing here on this wonderful podcast. Now, you guys are obviously tight with a few players, obviously Mitchell Stark and Mitchell Marsh. There is talk of them both playing injured. Do you think they'll suit up again in Sydney? Do you think there'll be a little bit of... You guys have got inside gossip?
I've got inside from online today. Alex Carey's done a presser and said that they'll be good to go. That's all we can report upon at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think Mitch Marsh is injured. I think he's injured pride at the moment because he keeps getting snicked off by Boomerang, but he's not Robinson Crusoe there. But I think he's fit and available to bowl. I did notice Andrew McDonald said that when he did bowl, Mitch Marsh at the MCG was a high 120s. I don't concur with that quite so. I saw low, if not high teens, but 100 teens type delivery speeds. But no, he's an erstwhile character, a very popular man in that team. The look of relief on his face when he held onto those 2 catches was one that says he wants some runs.
Lenny's just arrived now. They're all coming in. The stars are all arriving.
The fossil.
Let's say hello to the team.
Hello, great mate.
Lenny's here now.
Hello, team. How are we?
Hello, Lenny.
Fossil. How are you, buddy?
What's happening?
Oh, yeah, we stood up.
How was your New Year's? Oh, sorry, mate. That's right. I did see it on the TV.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but I had an early flight to here to see the great man and call tonight.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, go on.
No, Lenny, I didn't really get a chance to speak to you. Your commentary was outstanding that night at the MCG. So
thanks, mate.
Keep that up tonight, mate. You were brilliant.
Yeah, Can I just shake Lenny's hand as well? Because I noticed that you got the hair of the BBL.
Yeah, back
to back. That's 2 years on the trot now.
That's amazing. Yeah. But the good, Vaughany, if you didn't go to your squirrel inventor, you'd look like Lenny.
Well, don't worry. Why do you think we're in this office discussing something?
Don't do it, Lenny. Yeah. We're good-looking people, Lenny. Don't do it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to have to introduce you if I'm on here.
All right, we've got to go. We've got to get some clobber on to do this game.
All right, so I guess we just quickly do this quiz. We haven't touched everything we wanted to. Oh, actually, we're going to... Sydney real quick. Who's going to win?
Australia.
I think Australia. Yeah.
Australia. Oh,
and that'll be 3-1. I think
3-1, then you'll be correct.
And we'll all win.
Yeah.
I think just quickly before we sign off on the MCG test, moment of the broadcast, without doubt, the insightful, in-depth, emotionally charged interview that Michael Vaughan and I were able to pull off with Mutiala Reddy, father of Nitish Kumar Reddy, just after he scored his 100. Go back on KO. What was that, day 3? Go back on KO at Stumps. Check it out. It's Parkinson-like. It was
Really?
just before I got told that you're interviewing. I was walking over to say hello to him. Someone whispered in my ear, "He doesn't speak English." That's outstanding. Outstanding.
Well,
I ended up talking to the Bumrah kid.
Wasn't this what we spoke about? That because you knew one phrase in Hindi, didn't you, Gilly? Did you pull that out?
Yeah, I did. I chose not to go with it because I didn't want to lure him in a false sense of security where he thinks I really do know more Hindi. So, no, it was wonderful TV.
All right, we'll get on. We'll have a look. Now, you have written a quiz. We are about to lose these blokes. So is it a quick one?
Yeah, it's a very quick one. Yeah. I did see that, by the way, of your interview. Inigo GCT wrote to us on YouTube, when Gilly and Vaughany interviewed Nishish Kumar Reddy's father, it felt like, did I just switch to Club Prairie Fire? And he said, was the comment. So that was a good comment yesterday. But quickly, the quiz is just about 2024. So some records we had in the wonderful year that was. So the first one is, who got the biggest score of the year? Bonus point if you get the number bang on. Individual tests. This is tests only.
Oh,
Harry Brook.
Harry Brook. Yeah.
324.
Okay, nearest to the right score, sorry. 324, did you say? And Gilly?
Gilly, you want to take a guess?
325.
Vaughany gets it, 317.
Went the wrong way.
Number 2. We all know Jasprit Brum has the most test wickets this year, but who is in second place? And again, we'll get the nearest if they both say the same name.
Gus Atkinson.
Gilly, sticking or twisting?
I'm going to go with... I wouldn't have a clue who's got the wicket. So I'll go with Gus Atkinson.
Correct. Right. How many? Nearest?
Lead the way, boy.
61.
Oh, no. 60 for sure.
Yeah, 52. Gilly, point for you there.
Yes.
Noah Bashir in third place with 49. Which batsman has the most scores of 50 or more in the year?
Joe Root.
JAISWAL. 12 times. Joe Root. Yeah, JAISWAL.
Joe Root went big, didn't he? Yeah.
Well,
right up.
Question number 4. Joe Root has the most hundreds this year. How many did he get?
8.
7.
No, I don't even know you get closest for this. The answer's 6, so neither of you are getting point there. We got.
You can't change the rules just because you got it right.
No, but Joe Root was in the question, so you do the numbers right. It's 1-1 still.
Okay. All right, you're the quiz master.
Yeah, sorry, so much. Number 5 for the decider. Jasprit Bumrah has a few records, including the most ducks in the year. How many did he get?
Well, he got
2 in Melbourne.
He got a few against England. I reckon he got 6.
I was going to say 6. I'm going to go 7.
This one is closest. It's 8. Gilly gets the win.
Hey, we need one from Gilly.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Right.
All right,
is that the win then?
It was, yep. Congratulations. Yep. First show of 2025. As you get the toast ready, I'll just say at Club Prairie Fire, follow us, like us, subscribe to us. As I said, 2025, big year for the podcast. So tell your friends, tell your family, get involved. Gilly, over to you.
Yeah, I will do. Also, very quickly, we didn't really get to it in the end, but that ESPN Quick Info men's test team of 2024. Did you pick that, Vaughany?
I did have a little say in it, yeah.
Right.
How many Englishmen?
Who's in it?
JAISWAL, and then you got Duckett, Joe Root, Rachin Ravindra, Harry Brook.
Yeah.
Then we got Kamindu Mendes, very, very fine player. Jamie Smith has got the gloves.
Yeah.
After 3 games.
Yeah. Averages
Jadeja.
Generational talent.
Good mate. Good mate of mine.
Jasprit Bumrah snuck in there.
Yeah.
Matt Henry got in there. And then big Josh Hazlewood is the only Australian represented.
Well, so no Gus Atkinson?
No Gus.
52 wickets, 110 for a hat-trick in a year.
Yeah. Get a Guernsey.
And there's not one South African in that team.
No.
Oh.
What time last night at the Crick Info New Year's Eve bash did they start putting out that list?
I think they were on Ollie's boat.
They were on Ollie's boat.
They've had 1,000 when they put that list
out. Beautifully done. Off and running in 2025. My little toast. Here's to double-breasted suits. Long may they live on.
Very good. Yeah, the old the trader. Mm.
And if anyone needs any stock market tips, I can give them to you.
If you liked the video, well, first of all, thanks for watching. But if you liked it, give us a like or hit the button below to subscribe. That'd be great.